Hey guys, what's going on? In today's video, I wanted to see just how hot a Blackstone griddle can actually get. For some people, this isn't really a big deal. For others, it's a bigger deal. Depending on the type of food you like to cook, depending on the dishes you have, you might need to know how long it takes to get a Blackstone griddle hot. You might need to go how actually hot it's going to get if you want to sear something. So either way, what I've done is I have taken my Blackstone 28, as well as the E-Series electric griddle and the Adventure 17 propane griddle. And I am going to turn all three on at the same time. I am going to turn them all up to high, and I'm going to check each of them with this little cheapo infrared laser thermometer gun that I got off Amazon. I don't know how deadly accurate this thing is, but it's going to give us a good ballpark, and it seems to be fairly accurate out here. It's a 90-something degree day outside, and when I check these surfaces, when they're off right now, it shows 120-ish, 130-ish, so that seems to be fairly ballpark good. And what we will do is we will crank each one on, turn on a timer, and check them as we go and see when each one tops out at what max temperature and how long each one took to get there. So let's get started. All right, so because there's no way for me to turn on a timer and start one each at the exact same time, I just don't have 6 hands. So I'm gonna go ahead and just crank each one up immediately and then start the timer. So we'll be within, a 10 to 15 second range. So let me go ahead and crank this up. There goes that. Both on high. Let's go to the E-Series. I don't know if you can see it on the dial, it's really bright out today, but it's cranked up to 420, 480, and there is the max at 500. And so that'll start cranking. And then here on the Adventure Ready, maybe it's lit. Nope, not lit. There we go, it's lit. All right, so that's on high, and this is on high. We will see how long it takes. So right now we're showing 180. The E-Series, 160. And the Adventure Ready, 185. And that's about, less than a minute in. So I'll check back here in just a second. All right, so right off the bat, I did notice something. We're about 2 minutes in, and if you look at the propane 28, that's showing around 270, 280. And then we come on the Adventure Ready. All right, 250. Oh, hold on, missing it. I'm gonna point it at it, that'll help. 270, 260. And then the electric, 214, 220, 219. So the electric is definitely going to be a slower heat up, but that seems to be obvious just because it's got a heater coil on electricity rather than a direct flame from propane. All right, hey guys, while we're waiting here, I reached out to Blackstone and I was doing a little research, and the response that I was able to find online through their support was that in their testing environment, people had asked in the past how hot they got their Blackstone griddle. And what they stated on their website was that in a testing environment, they were able to get the Blackstone 36 up to 560 degrees. But a testing environment is probably a new griddle. It's probably not outside. Maybe it is. I don't know. It may not have years of seasoning built onto it. And so I think those things do affect it over time. The gas tubes and things rust or get clogged, or your regulator can affect all that. So there's lots of things that can affect a testing environment at a factory or at a corporation versus real world use with real world conditions. And hot summer days, this is a prime example of why I'd want to test this and see just how hot I can get. Also, let's go check in real quick. All right, so we got some smoke coming off, so it's getting hot. And I will say, all right, so this is showing 530 in the hot spot there. That's my heat zone. That's right over a gas tube. The Adventure 17, 540, and the electric 412. And so that kind of makes sense, because if you think about it, the 17 inch is going to have a smaller surface to heat up versus say a 28 that's got a lot more steel to crank up heat to. and it's just barely ahead, but the 28 and the 17 propane ones are pretty much head to head, and the E-Series is slowly catching up. We'll check in a second. And that temperature to get to 550 degrees or wherever it was at, 540, that took 6 minutes. So just to give you an idea, 6 minutes from the off position to 550 degrees on a summer day. All right, guys, so we got some numbers rapidly evolving here. And so the 28 is sitting around 575, 560 on the 28. But if you look at the 17, we are over 600 degrees, which is pretty cool. And the electric, almost at 500, 475. All right, so we're about 8.5, 9 minutes in, and this is now at 6:15, and that's a summer day here in Colorado. And it took about 8.5, 9 minutes. This one, 6:10, 6:12, 6:15, 6:22, so right in that 6:20 area. And the electric, 503, and that's what they max it out on their digital thermostat. You can go no more than 500 degrees, and it looks like it might be staying in that spot, but we'll give it couple more minutes. All right, 6:15, 6:20, 6:24, 6:25, 6:30, 6:34 looks like it's the hottest we can get that one. It does fluctuate a bit. Now we're over the 10-minute mark. And then this one, 6:30 as well. And the electric, it's pretty steady at 500 degrees. So they've got that thing pretty dialed in, I'd say, on temps. All right, guys, so there you have it. We were able to get 600 and looks like 36, 38 might have been the max. And those were pretty much rivaled between the Blackstone 28 and the Blackstone Adventure 17. They both took about 8-9 minutes to get to max temperature, and they both kind of hung out at that. I waited a few more minutes, and they just really wouldn't crest that 630 degrees. But 630 degrees Fahrenheit inside at 10 minutes is a pretty fast and pretty hot flat top surface to cook on. So for those of you who are wondering just how hot a Blackstone gets, I did not test the 36, but based on these results, you can get a ballpark that you should see 620 to 630 is a pretty safe bet. And on the electric griddle, I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised to see that thermostat said 500 degrees. I had wondered in my head if it actually hit 500 degrees, and it looks like in today's testing, it does in fact sit right at 500 degrees. So kudos to Blackstone for kind of dialing in that thermostat. And overall, we did exceed their testing environment by about 65, 70 degrees. And so for those of you who were wondering if there was a testing conditions versus real life hot day where you're actually griddling, you can definitely exceed their test results that they got of 560 degrees. So do what you want with it. There was really no point to this video except for I just wanted to know how hot they would get, and that kind of let us know. Talk to you guys later.